Hi, welcome to Spec Hunter. If you are thinking about buying the iPhone Air, you should know one thing from the start. On paper, you are paying more money for a phone that does less than the cheaper iPhone 17. That sounds strange, but it's the truth. Still, when Apple revealed the iPhone Air, I felt something I have not felt for a long time. The design looked completely fresh. It reminded me of how I felt when the iPhone X was first shown to the world. The polished titanium edges looked stunning. The thin profile stood out right away. It didn't look like just another iPhone. It looked like something new. And for me, the number one reason to buy the Air is simple. It's thinner. Many people will roll their eyes at that. I know some will say no one cares if a phone is thinner. But as someone who has always followed Apple closely, I think this is exactly what made them special years ago. Back in the Steve Jobs era, every new product was thinner, lighter, and more elegant than the one before. People laughed at Apple for chasing thinness, but there was a deeper reason behind it. The philosophy was that technology should get out of the way. Devices should feel invisible so the experience feels natural. Holding a phone was supposed to feel like holding a piece of glass that connected you to the digital world. Over time, that idea faded. From the first iPhone to the iPhone 6, every release kept getting thinner. But since then, Apple went in the opposite direction. The phones became thicker and heavier. And it made sense because the iPhone took on a bigger role. It became the main computer for many people. It also became the main camera. Bigger roles meant bigger designs. This year Apple did something interesting. On one hand, they gave us the iPhone 17 Pro, which is one of the thickest and heaviest iPhones ever. It looks bold and feels like a serious tool. But at the same time, they introduced the iPhone Air, which goes back to Apple's old obsession with making devices thin and light. The two phones represent two very different ideas. I create videos for a living, so the Pro makes sense for my work. But I've also had a tough time with large phones. My current iPhone 16 Pro Max is powerful, but it's too big. It feels heavy in my pocket. It's hard to use with one hand. Some days I don't even want to carry it around. The size makes its presence known all the time. That's not always a good thing. Another problem is how much time I spend on my phone. My screen time is often over 8 hours a day, and that makes me feel unproductive. I know a lot of people can relate to this. We get stuck in a cycle of scrolling, consuming, and wasting hours without noticing. For me, a bigger phone only makes that worse. I don't want a more intrusive device right now. That's why the iPhone Air caught my attention. It promises the same performance as the iPhone 17 Pro, but in a body that's thinner, lighter, and less intrusive. Apple says the battery life matches the iPhone 16 Pro. If that's true, it means I can still get through a day without worrying. For someone who wants to cut down on usage but still needs a reliable phone, that's the right balance. Of course, the iPhone Air has trade-offs. The most obvious one is the single camera system. The Pro models come with multiple lenses, including powerful zoom. Losing those is a big drawback. But for me, most of the time, I only use the main wide lens. It gives the best quality shots. I rarely use ultra-wide, and I only switch to telephoto when I really need it. So while I'll miss those options, I think I can manage with one solid camera. What I will miss more are the Pro features. ProRAW photos and ProRes video are very useful for content creators. I use them occasionally, and the quality is great. But I also use a dedicated Sony camera for most of my work, so this loss is not the end of the world. It feels like a step down, but not one that ruins the experience. The sound system is another compromise. The Air only has a single speaker. I often listen to podcasts in the shower with my phone speaker, so I hope it's loud and clear enough. Stereo sound would have been nice, but I usually use AirPods Pro for music or serious listening, so it's not a deal breaker. Now let's talk about what makes the Air special. First is the build. Apple used titanium to make it both light and strong. They called it the most durable iPhone ever. Early bend tests already show it holds up well, which is impressive for a phone this thin. Second is the weight. The iPhone Air weighs just 156 grams. That makes it one of the lightest iPhones in years. Combine that with a thickness of only 5.4 millimeters, and it feels almost invisible in your hand. This is exactly what Apple was aiming for. Third is performance. The Air uses the same A19 Pro chip as the iPhone 17 Pro. That means you get the same speed, the same AI features, and the same long-term support. The only difference is the Pro models have advanced cooling, so the Air may get warmer during heavy gaming or long 4K recording. But for everyday use, it should be fine. Fourth is the display. The Air comes with a 6.5-inch OLED screen. It's bright, sharp, and colorful. The bezels are thinner than ever, which makes the design look clean. Apple also gave it promotion with up to 120 Hz refresh rate, so everything feels smooth. Even though the screen is large, the thin body makes it easier to handle compared to bulkier models. And then there's the battery. Apple claims it lasts about as long as the iPhone 16 Pro, which means up to 22 hours of video playback. For a phone this thin, that's impressive. It should be enough for a full day of use. The design also feels fresh with new colors like sky blue, cloud white, and midnight. I personally chose cloud white with 512 gigabytes of storage. It feels classic and clean. Without ProRes video, I don't need 1 terabyte anymore, so 512 gigabytes is more than enough. So why am I buying the iPhone Air? It's not because it's the most powerful iPhone. It's not because it has the best camera. It's because it brings back a philosophy I miss from Apple. A philosophy where the device feels invisible in your hand. A philosophy where you look at a product and wonder how Apple managed to fit so much technology into something so thin. That sense of wonder is what I want again. Of course, I will also buy the Pro models. That's part of my job. I need to test everything so I can give honest reviews. If the iPhone Air turns out to be a mistake, I will tell you. But right now, I'm excited. I want to hold this phone and feel that old Apple magic again. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Stay tuned for my full reviews of the iPhone 17 lineup.